all I can say is that we've got a hunger that only Jesus can feed. And the way that he describes it is that it goes beyond our human perception and our human understanding, because it is this mystery, something that he reveals. And so what does he say? He says, "Dear Christian, don't you see? This is the bread that comes down from heaven, so that anyone may eat of it and not die. I am the living bread which came down from heaven. If anyone eats this bread, he will live forever." That we've got a promise of God that is stronger than any human opinion, than any cultural movement, than any candidate or their platform. We've got a promise from God that is stronger than any human connection or correlation or fellowship. We've got a promise from God that is bigger than any building project. We've got a promise of God that he promises to feed you. He promises to feed you. And look at the expansiveness of this promise. He's not just like, all right, I'll be a little chintzy. I'll make sure you have a snack and sandwich before you go out and play. He's like, here's this banquet. Like the imagery from Proverbs chapter 9. Here's this banquet. Look at the wideness of God's gospel grace. Look at the banquet that he lays out before you. He says, you'll never be hungry. You'll never be thirsty. You may eat of it, free of charge, and not die. That even when your body and soul separate, the life that Christ began in you in holy baptism is something that continues through all eternity. And the relationship that he began with you in holy baptism is something that continues forever. And so what of it? Your body and soul are separated for a time. So what? Jesus is going to come back and knit you together. But the question then, as a congregation, who do you know that is still hungry? And maybe it's the person in the mirror. I'll skip all the stats on that. That'll be for another rant, I'm sure. I'm sorry. But who do you know that is still hungry? Because the promise of Jesus is for them too. And this promise isn't predicated on, making sure that we all think the same way and making sure that we just need more time together and making sure we've got the best image and the best graphics and the best communication and all those things. The promise of God is based on the fact that the Son of God builds his church by feeding his people. And so it's like every Sunday, we come here. Here's Christ who feeds his people in a very real way.